Well, today's question has to be, why is woodland so important to us mentally? You'll see why in a minute. The answer, I think, is this. You can't hear a great deal. Certainly you can't hear so much of the sounds and noise of man, although it is increasingly hard to get away from. No matter where you go, especially in Nottinghamshire, you're rarely in complete silence. That's why I enjoy the night so much. Night time is a peaceful time. It's a wonderful time. And woodland in the daytime can be equally as such. It's a place that I escape to, and I'm quite fortunate to have Sherwood Forest here and these fabulous old ancient oaks right more or less on my doorstep. I could walk here in half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and experience these marvellous old trees. There's not much left of this old chap, and this one is my particular favourite. Doesn't have a top anymore, and its twisted form is strongly reminiscent, to me at least, of a hooded figure pointing westwards. But the rest of these magnificent trees here in Sherwood Forest are equally as important to me. They've helped me over the last 4 or 5 or so years, probably longer, to be honest. Indeed, they have so. Thinking back now, it was always important after a shift at work to come out to somewhere quiet, and quite often it was here. But what's the attraction? I think the attraction for me personally is this tranquility, this peace and quiet, an ability to be able to escape from everything. Not that I have a lot to escape from, but mentally, woodland and time spent in woodland certainly recharges the batteries. And so much emphasis is placed now on mental health, and woodland, to most people at least, would play a most important part in that. I know many people will like those great expanses of moorland and mountains, but to many people, woodland such as this, quiet woodland, is the place to go. I've come here a lot over recent years, and I still do, although I tend not to visit this particular part of Sherwood Forest so much anymore. But anyone that escapes to woodland will all know the benefits of woodland. And I know that there's a lot of people that subscribe to this channel and many that don't subscribe to this channel that use woodland as an escape. It's a better escape than tablets. It is, in my opinion anyway. This is one of the most magnificent trees in the forest that most people that visit here never ever see. No idea about whatsoever. Yet it is one of the trees with probably the widest girths on any trunk in the forest. It's an absolute belter of a tree. How much these trees have gone through and have seen over the years, over centuries. Most of these really large ancients are upwards of 500 plus years old. Quite remarkable that something living can live for centuries. It's a good job that people can't live for centuries. Maybe if they had been able to live for centuries, there would be no planet long ago. There's so much bad news. We're surrounded by bad news constantly, even more so in this day and age now of smartphones, 24-hour television, and the world's worst events at your fingertips constantly. You can see too much news, and I think the news and what's happening around the world at any given time of the year or somebody's life isn't always the wisest of things to be listening to and to be seeing. That's not to bury your head in the sand to everything, but you can't take it all in, especially if it doesn't affect you. There's no point taking it all in. If you take it in, you have to release it at some time and at some point and in some manifestation. It will have to come back out, and that's the start of many people's problems. And then you come to somewhere like this with this dreadful noise going on. Of course, I'm joking. Quite often I sit and just listen to the sounds of the birds and the insects indeed when it's warmer and we have bumblebees and honeybees flying around here. That buzz of insects in the summer. Who doesn't like that? Such an evocative sound, and brings memories flooding back to hear bumblebees, the hum of bees around a tree. And when those little aspects, pieces of memory come back, it really helps. It picks you up. Nothing wrong in looking back and remembering. At least remembering the good bits. A lot of people nowadays will say that the old days, and certainly old people will look back at the old days through rose-tinted glasses. Try telling somebody of a certain age that what they remember so fondly from their childhood and their teens and early 20s wasn't good. To most people it was. Times were simpler. Times were certainly simpler for people at school. technology and everything that comes with it, say the 24-hour news and social media. While social media can be absolutely great, it's a big cause of many people's problems. I don't suppose many of you sit and watch clouds, but they are quite remarkable in allowing you to forget, whether it's momentarily or for a longer period of time. But take yourself off out to somewhere quiet, be it woodland, moorland, coast or mountaintop. Just sit and watch the clouds go by and just concentrate on the clouds, and you'll be surprised at what you forget. And any forgetting of your troubles, I've always found, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, is time well spent. I'm not one of those people that steadfastly believes in time being a great healer and all that. I don't think it is. Time just provides the period for you to heal yourself, at least potentially. I understand why people need some kind of help along the way. That's only to be expected. But there's a lot you can do to help yourself and to help create a better mental attitude. That's what I find anyway. Having an interest in nature, and especially an interest in insects and other invertebrates, has helped me enormously. If I hadn't had that interest, you might well not have been watching this video at some points. Nature quite often doesn't have to do anything to help you. Just be there. And be there it always will be, as long as man doesn't interfere too much or ultimately cause Armageddon and ruin everything for everything. It's amazing to think that even if there was Armageddon, the first things to sprout up wouldn't be people. It would be trees and plants. Always there, whatever the weather, whatever the time of year, and always there for those times when you need them. Quite a remarkable thing, nature. It can help you through the worst of times.